James, did it feel a bit like Groundhog Day that first quarter when the defensive intent wasn't quite there and that allowed the Hawks to skip out on you?
Definitely feels like Groundhog Day, and it's a message that we've been, putting forth throughout the whole season. And obviously, our group hasn't been able to take that message and execute that message to be better in that situation.
And you made a couple of runs at it. I think you got to within 10 there at the start of the third. What were the keys to that, do you think? Because at the end of the second, I think as well, you put some pressure on them, you came at it, but again, they were able to kick away. But what was the key to that brief success you had in reeling them in?
I mean, it's an easy word to say, but obviously it's a little bit hard to do for us, which is we just turned up our defensive intent and purpose and pressure and physicality and rebounding. And I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but I think if you look at the top defensive teams in the league, which is Melbourne, Sydney, Tassie, Illawarra, and Perth, they're all competing for those 4 playoff spots. And this is the message that I've said at the beginning of the season, that defensive teams, get into the playoffs and they're consistent and they invest in that. And so when you're investing in that, you reap the rewards, and those teams are reaping the rewards, and we have not done that.
Today seemed to sort of mix and match your lineups a little bit. Like, was that partly to spark things today, but also to have a look at players moving forward, both for the rest of this season and next year?
100%. Obviously, we're trying to find some type of spark with this group, and trying to push us in the right direction. But then also, like other players that haven't got maybe the opportunity throughout the season, we wanted to take a look at them and see what they had to offer. Big Lou here, who's sitting beside me, he's worked hard. He's in the weight room. He's doing all the necessary things that we would want as a professional basketball player. It's just sometimes with the matchups throughout the course of the season, it was pretty difficult for him. Tonight we wanted to just give him a crack and see what he could do. And for his minutes that he was out there, he was able to help us. Like there was a couple times where his man was left wide open, but in the end, like he worked and played hard for us, and that was one of the main things that we wanted.
Hi James, Fraser here from NAP. How's it going? Can you just run us through the decision to start small tonight with Lamar at the 5? Do you think you kind of missed the jump there, starting small against Illawarra with Duop getting some easy looks inside?
Not necessarily, because we figured that we've been starting slow overall, right? And it didn't matter what matchups we were having. We wanted to play our best matchups that we've had the last previous games. So I would say our last game against Illawarra, how we started against Adelaide, and so we wanted to try to simulate that and try to get ourselves going in that way. In saying that, you might look at how Reith played, which he had an unbelievable game, but if you're giving up 30 plus points in transition, it doesn't really matter what matchups you are, right? Like running back to defense, sprinting back to defense, and matching up was one of the keys going into the game, and you have the #1 team in transition.
Just a question for Big Lou. How have you found your progression this year in the NBL, and what did you enjoy about tonight's game?
第二个问题就是你今天比赛感觉怎么样？
首先就是很高兴能来到这个 NBL 这个联赛。今年在这个 NBL 联赛，大家都能看到，然后这个 这个 NBL 的强度、对抗强度啊，包括速度都是很快的。
I'm happy to be in this NBL league, and this league is very competitive, very physical.
就是在包括我们布里斯班子弹队，这个赛季也打出了很多不错的球。
We play few good games in this season.
我个人方面呢，可能就是能够也是得到了很多的进步吧。
For myself, I feel like I've improved a lot.
然后
下一个问题，就是你今天比赛感觉怎么样？
比赛我们一直在专注球场的事情吧，然后也是耐心听从教练的布置吧。
I'm focused on the game, and I'm just waiting for the right call to call me to play.
随时等待教练给我的机会，然后让我上场去努力绽放自己。
I was ready for the opportunity, and when I go up on the court, I trying to shy to perform.
Thanks to you both.
Yep. 谢谢，
Thank you.
谢谢 ，Thank you.
Ben?
James, just one question for you. It's been a tough season, some highs, a lot of lows, but the fans here at Nissan have never wavered. Just what do you want to say to the fans who have come out every week, every game, and packed the stands?
Unbelievable fan support, our fans, our members, and I almost want to apologize just for the performance of our last home game. This is not what we talked about. We wanted to send them off in a better way. In saying that, as you just said, they've supported us through COVID, through injuries, through some of these situations where we weren't able to pull out the wins where we necessarily wanted those games to come. But ultimately, I have so much respect for our fan base and what we're trying to build here moving forward into the future. So I have to tip my hat a couple times to everything that they've done and supporting me as well and continuing to support the fellas.
Thank you.
Any final questions? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.